Here is the most effective strategy on how to become very rich, wealthy, and successful in this life. Yes, I'm going to be breaking down some of these things step by step for you guys. There is possibility that you must have seen somebody that is very rich. After a while, the person went down. Yes, what are the things that really make those things happen? Let me tell you the truth. Every human being on earth is destined to become rich at one certain time or the other. The only thing that makes those people become very rich and some of them grow into become very wealthy for a lifetime is there is something they did that most people fail to understand. Most people didn't do. And some got to a point that they think they have to go into criminality. Some even got to a point where they feel the only way is to go into money rituals. But sorry, it never worked this way. These are the things that you need to be aware of. Let me break them down step by step. We get to appreciate everything now. Now, what exactly is wealth and what exactly is being rich? You need to understand that as a human being, there are stages in life. So without understanding these stages, you stand already a risk of becoming a failure. That is the bitter truth that you need to be aware of. First, you have the survival stage. This first stage is a survival stage. At this stage, you do everything with your physical energy, you do everything possible to survive, especially if you don't have any basic foundation of wealth within your family. Now, how do you move from becoming very successful? Now, you struggle at this level to feed. We have the growth stage. When you struggle so well, there is always that chances that you get to this stable stage. This is where hard work pays. At this level, your hard work will pay. Yes, hard work pays. Truly, it pays. You begin to get some small changes that you can be able to survive and become stable a bit. Some people they work to this stage to a point of even getting a car or even a house or even something. But some of them, when they get to this stage, they begin to feel very relaxed. They fail to know that it takes more energy to stay at the top and even cross this stage than even going further. Now, those who understand this at this stage, they begin to invest. Why? They begin to invest into other things that will give them more money. Then that is when you begin to hear of multiple streams of income. Now, by the time you have multiple streams of income, you will now get to a stage where you have not just multiple stream of system income, but you begin to have a lot of multiple streams of assets. These assets are things that they must not necessarily be in form of cash. They are things that they can be human being that even without you touching them, they bring you money. That is how it goes. Because at this stage of because when you are being rich, at this stage, you have to do a lot of things, sometimes engage physically in some things. But when you get to this very stage, the system is automatically working for you. You don't need to worry. You already have people that are in charge of everything. Now, how do you really cross go through this process successfully and then get to this very final stage without having issues? Now, so for you to really get to this stage successfully, there are some key things that you need to be aware of while you are starting from here. As you grow through the stages, you get to understand what exactly where you are, because this is what draw the difference from what you can clearly see here. Now, to grow into this wealth, these are the breakdown of certain things you need to be aware of. First, knowledge, investment into knowledge. At survival stage, let me tell you, at survival stage here, most of the time you don't really worry about knowledge. It's all about your physical energy. Yes, you want to eat. By all means, your next meal is a problem. Now, you will not be worried much about knowledge. But as you progresses, once you get to this little stable stage where you can be able to get 2 square meal, the next thing that should come to your mind is start investing into knowledge. Because let me tell you, the biggest amount of money that is in this life is not for your physical energy, it's from your brain. That is why it's not people who work harder the hardest that makes the most money. It's people who work the smartest. And for you to work smart, it means you must know something that a lot of people don't know. At least you should know something that 1 million people don't know. At least 1 million people don't know. Or even if they know, they are not willing to implement. That is where the real money comes, because by the time this 1 million people comes to you to give them solution, you are already a millionaire. That is the secret. So let's go further now. Now that you get to this very stage of being stable, you are going to be investing into yourself. Investing into yourself at this stage, you need to invest in a whole lot of knowledge, as I said. Then you need to go into what we call the evil hour concept. Still within this stage that you are beginning to get something. At this stage, it means it's like when an aircraft is about to take off. it runs, when it is running at that very stage, you need another extra force to lift it from the ground. This is where the evil hour concept comes into play. At this level, you are going to be very dedicated to that thing. You're going to work very hard. You need to really have that brain of analyzing things, collecting information. Yes, this stage can be very, very inconvenient for some people. Some people who don't have strong brain, sometimes at this level, they get collapsed. So you have to be very, very strong for yourself at this level to really put in the work, evaluate things, look at what is working. Then you begin to identify what is not working, do a lot of A/B testing. Yes, for most people, because of distraction that is available at this stage, most people get to fail. And this is where they go back to this stage, they go back to survival stage. Because in the process of doing the A/B testing, they were not paying attention. So this is where you need to learn how to pay close attention. Now, while you are doing this A/B testing, you identify what is, while you are doing, investing all this energy, doing things like no tomorrow, sometimes you stay into late into the hours to look at things. That is why some of these big people, they still practice this even as they get into the highest level. Just level of dedication, consistency, and the rest. Now, as you are doing this, you are going to be screening out things that are not working by doing A/B testing. Because it is at this level that you begin to identify your real self, begin to identify what is working in your life and what is not working. Because not everything that they throw at you that works. Even though you are getting the information, some will not work for you due to some peculiarity. Now, when you get to this stage, you begin to do what you call, begin to build template, because this is where the real richness and wealth comes into play. Building template in the sense that you need to begin to identify what you should be doing every blessed day. Yes, you need to be very disciplined about it. By 8 a.m. to so time, I'm going to be attending to my Facebook. By so time to so time, I'm going to be attending to my YouTube. By so time, I'm going to be attending to this. By so time, I'm going for this meeting. By so at this level, you need high level of discipline. There are days that you have to deny yourself sleep. Yes, that tells you how serious it is, because you must meet up with this routine. I'm actually speaking from experience because I know how this is. So I've interacted with a lot of high level people that have become very successful, and I have seen this. This is what they practice. Some of them by 2 a.m., 3 a.m., you get to see them moving because of this evil hour concept. They are interacting with people that they need to interact. That is why they said your network is your network. So this evil hour is very, very powerful. And then the same thing with this routine. This is why you see some people go viral on social media, and some people will stay there for 10, 15 years struggling to grow that handle. Because during this evil hour, you study a lot of things, then you identify what is working through the A/B testing, then you screen yourself and you narrow yourself to becoming an expert in that particular direction. That expertise is where that is what we attract the rich people that you connect with. Then you begin to then from there you now also become a rich person, because the real money that you are looking for is in the hands of people, and there are people that are willing to give you their money because they don't have time for you to offer them that services. They will be willing to buy that little time you are willing to sacrifice for them. And then while you are repeating those routines, going through it, you will now get to this stage where we talk about mental picture. Yes, as you are building this routine, you identify this routine that are working for you. Now, this is where the real work of being rich begin to play itself out. At this level, marketing matters a lot, because no matter how good you are, how good that expertise level that you have, if people don't know you, you will remain poor for life. This is where you need to invest into marketing. Painting mental picture of that value that you have to your targeted audience, to your targeted clients, to the targeted people you want to work with. This is where you begin to get people to invest into your idea, because at this level you identify it. When you present it to them, they get a clear mental picture of where you are going. This is why you see some people who have very good idea, after everything they go broke because they don't have good marketing strategy. So marketing is very, very important. Today, you see a lot of young people very successful on social media, not because they are just wasting time or they are doing things. You might see what they are doing, you might not really understand what exactly, but because they understand this thing very well. That is why they are working. They are using this so powerfully well that some of them, if you are good in this, it can change your situation from a nobody to somebody overnight. That tells you how powerful this mental picture is. It's a very powerful tool in every business. Dangote is a world-class brand today, not because of anything, because he understands this thing very well, this mental picture. And then while you are doing this, the next thing you should watch out for is the 4,000 watch hour. Wow. This is the 4,000 watch hour. What exactly is this 4,000 watch hour? You see, when you fail to understand that as a human being you have only 24 hours in a day, then you stand a 99% chance of becoming broke for life. That means for you to build wealth, you need to understand that you have only 24 hours in a day. And no matter how hard you work, if you are being paid $10 per hour or even $600 per hour, let's say for example you are being paid $10 per hour, the highest you end up is $240 for a whole day. But mind you, you are a human being, you cannot work 24 hours, so these hours must cost down. So this is where the 4,000 watch hour comes into play. How does this 4,000 watch hour comes into play? This is where you begin to buy other people's time. Yes, you buy other people's time. It's a very powerful strategy that works. Some of you see concept of virtual assistant, people building businesses, employing people. They are not employing people because they have so much money to spend. They are employing people because they understand the power of time. Now, if this person bought 4,000 hours of people, and then in a day, it means if he is charging, if he is to be paid $10 per hour, now he is having 4,000 hours to himself in a day. How much do you think that will be? 4,000. That is going to be $400,000. Sorry, that will be going to be $40,000 in a day. Against no matter how hard he worked, which will end up with only $240. And because he hire other people, he is going to work less. Yes, he is going to do majorly coordination, while these other people are the ones that are going to be doing the major hard work. So before you know it, you see one person becoming so very rich while other people are struggling around him. Yes, this is what they do. So that is the overall goal of everything. Building this mental picture, building a brand around themselves, and then they take advantage of this. By the time they build that brand, everybody accepts it, then they go into this, buying other people's time for their own self, so that they can do other things that matters the most. There are people that would rather travel by road, would rather travel by air than to travel by road, no matter how cheap traveling by road is. It's not because they don't know what they are doing, they understand the power of time. There are people that no matter how cheap something is, they will never do it by themselves. They rather pay somebody to do it by themselves. That is how they understand how to play this game. So working with this 4,000 hours doesn't mean you need to be stingy. Some people who don't understand this, and that is why people who are very stingy, they become very broke for life, because what they are supposed to use their money to do, they use their energy. And the worst thing that can happen to you as a human being is what you call mental exhaustion. The biggest amount of the money you need is in your brain. That means you need to learn how to relax your brain and not use it on every random thing. When you decide to use it on every random thing, it's going to get exhausted. And by the time you get exhausted, you will not be able to do anything tangible. Then before you know, your last hope will be your physical strength. And this is unfortunate reality. No matter how strong your physical strength is, there is a stage in life that you get to that you will not be able to use it again. This is why you need to learn this one and this one. So that is how you grow through this chain. Most successful people anywhere in the world, this is the chain they are using. So I believe you learned something in this particular video. I'm going to be breaking some of these things down as time goes on. Now this will be in an ebook for you guys to have access to, for those who will be interested, so that you continue to go through it, memorize it, and continue to work on it, because this knowledge level matters a lot. Knowledge level matters a lot because you need to have a skill. That is the beginning of the journey, because you must have a solution that people are looking for. So if you don't have any solution that people are looking for, just forget about it. And you must learn to sacrifice money for knowledge. because most people become broke in life because they fail to know when to invest money in knowledge. They think knowledge is only going to school to pay school fees. Knowledge is not only about going to school. There are things that are very much available in your area that if you can invest into learning, is going to shape your life. That is where the journey will begin. So some people who feel they always looking for free thing, this is where it destroy their own life. Those who believe so much in free thing, this is where their problem usually start. They can go to this level, come to this stable stage, but because of they are looking for too much free thing, then they collapse, they go back to the survival stage, and that is the end of the road for them. They never cross this stage. A lot of people always get stuck in this stage. Too much free things. Yes, you have the money, but you don't want to feed. You have the money, but you don't want to sacrifice it for your time. You rather trek 1,000 kilometers than to pay a particular amount to transport yourself. You rather spend a whole day, a whole night after a very busy day cooking because you don't want to buy food. You rather spend a whole day washing clothes because you don't want to be smart, you don't want to use your brain. At the end of the day, you are lost. That money you are trying to protect will leave you because money needs to be treated with respect. That is money for you. It doesn't stay where people are not willing to work because money is not designed to stay in one place. That is a bitter truth. So no matter how you stack it, it will leave you. So it's better you get it to work for you than to stack it. So most people who understand this invest money into making money work for them. So see you guys in my next video. Thanks once again.